vast size of the Galactic Empire saw the Imperial military develop a wide array of specialized military units. Operating from ocean worlds to planets soaked in radiation, the Empire covered every contingency for its forces.
General, prepare your troops for a surface attack.
Yes, my lord.
Whether that be for peacekeeping or a massive invasion, the Imperial military must take into account the local environment. For planetary assault, only one army unit can fill the gap: the Imperial Army Drop Troopers.
Troopers, we are green and very, very mean!
Drop Troopers make up a common middle ground between your standard Army Troopers and Army Special Missions Troopers. Drop Troopers are pathfinders, survivalists, and experts at orbital insertion operations, likely inheriting this role from the airborne clone units of the Grand Army.
All units attack! Let's go!
After the division of clones from the Army to form the Stormtrooper Corps, the Imperial Army took up the task of forming its own paratroop unit. The role of Drop Troopers is to land behind enemy lines and accomplish any mission. Primarily, this means scouting out landing zones and supply points for full-scale invasions.
So, it's Normandy.
Like all Imperial Army units, Imperial Trooper recruits are trained at Imperial Army drop camps. While there, they would be trained to rigorous Imperial standards.
Stand in the door. Go! You just broke both your legs, Private Gordon. Are you trying to get yourself killed?
No, sir!
While in training, it's likely the best survivalists will be picked out and selected for assignment to drop companies. These troopers would also receive additional training in this role. Even with a standard trooper being trained to fight in the same diversity of worlds, Drop Troopers as a specialized unit likely face even tougher standards for how important their role is in any major offensive.
All you have to do is remember what you were taught, and I guarantee you gravity will take care of the rest.
Officer candidates would be trained at local sector military academies, or at the more prestigious institutions, such as Wraithall, Korlog, or Corita Academy.
Who are you?
Lieutenant Jones, sir.
Ryder, West Pointer.
Yes, sir.
When'd you graduate?
June 6th, sir.
June 6th? Of last year?
D-Day, yes, sir.
Alright, don't get hurt.
Such field positions are important commands, where skilled, well-trained Army officers would be needed. Especially given that Drop Troopers would be operating for long periods of time without the direct support of logistics that normal line units would receive. Imperial Drop Troopers follow the same squad organization as the rest of the Army. The only notable change comes at the company level, where the unit gains the designation of a drop company. This formation in the Imperial Army acts as a specialized line company for hostile environment drops. A standard drop company contains 4 platoons, consisting of 8-man squads, 4 per platoon, numbering 152 troops. Along with their command and support personnel, this brings the company count to a total of 180 men. Mirroring a standard line company, it is commanded by a captain, who is served by 4 staff officers.
At least they listen.
To me. And they're not gonna like what they hear.
Orders are orders.
Come on, Veronica. What could be more important than that carrier?
My orders. And Buck, call me Captain.
SC-1 is the company lieutenant, the captain's second in command. SC-2 is the logistics officer, SC-3 the medical officer, and SC-4 is the technical officer. The company would also consist of 23 support personnel, 8 in logistics, 11 technical, and 4 medical. Each support person is aided by droids, from 2 to 11 droids, for an average of 118 droids in the standard company. Drop companies can also be augmented with additional troops, 2 more line platoons, a heavy weapons platoon, and an armor platoon. By contrast, a standard line company is augmented by 2 line platoons and 2 heavy weapons platoons. Still, an augmented drop company can number well over 300 men, depending on the platoons and whether or not they've been augmented as well. Either way, a drop company can still carry a great deal of firepower and force for an operation.
Come on, tough guy, we gotta blow this bridge.
despite its role and organizational differences to a standard line company, it's still classified as a line company in Imperial documentation. For all intents and purposes, a drop company is just a line company with expanded support. A standard loadout for a drop trooper company sees them kitted out for missions of up to 2 weeks, but they can be supplied for missions as long as 6 weeks. Thanks to the quality of Imperial training, Army troopers are already well experienced in a diverse amount of terrain and environments. For Imperial drop troopers, this is even more ingrained. Their support personnel are scroungers to put even the Rebel Alliance to shame.
Hey, who's got ammo? Got ammo? Hold on. Come here, ammo. Who's got ammo? What do you got, kid? You got any grenades? Come on, ammo.
Oh, I have every confidence in my scrounging abilities. And I had a case of the Bat 69 hidden in your footlocker.
With the nature of their independent commands, officers have an extreme amount of operational freedom to complete their objective. It is up to them to instruct the individual platoons on what they can expect when they reach the surface. Briefings on what the atmosphere is like, what the environment can be expected to do to the troopers' equipment, what biological hazards they face, what they might be able to eat if the rations get low. All of this is covered before a drop and kept firmly in mind to ensure they accomplish the mission.
Causeway number 1, causeway number 2, the ultimate field problem. The estuary of the Douve River divides 2 beachheads, codenamed Utah here and Omaha here. Seaborne infantry will hit these beaches in force at a date and time to be specified. H hour, D-Day. Airborne's objective, gentlemen, is to take the town of Carentan, thus linking Utah and Omaha into a single continuous beachhead.
Omaha and Utah into one continuous beachhead. Each trooper will learn this operation by heart and know his and every other outfit's mission to the detail.
Lieutenant Meehan?
Yes, Dukeman.
Sir, are we dropping tonight?
When it's time for you to know, we'll let you know. In the meantime, study these sand tables, maps, and reconnaissance photos until you can draw a map of the area by memory. Now, we will drop behind this Atlantic wall 5 hours before the 4th Infantry lands at Utah. Now, between our assembly area and the battalion's objective, there is a German garrison right here in this area, Saint-Marie-de-Mont. Easy Company will destroy that garrison.
The support staff can keep a company functioning independently thanks to their training. In ideal conditions, a drop trooper unit remains operational until all of the blaster packs have run out, and the support staff is considered to have done its job properly if it's kept every unwounded trooper and piece of equipment still fit for combat after a month of service.
Make the hole, hey! Make the hole! I got ammo! Grab what you can!
Lieutenant, you're a godsend. What's the situation?
I heard you guys are coming in. There was an ammo dump, so... Here.
For a 6-week loaded mission, this should be expected with the spare equipment. But for a 2-week operation, this shows the skill and ingenuity of the unit's officers to have kept the company viable for so long. Drop troopers are so good that a 6-week loaded drop company is capable of surviving without resupply for 6 months.
Looks like you guys are gonna be surrounded.
We're paratroopers, Lieutenant. We're supposed to be surrounded.
With their skill and training, drop companies are perfect for being deployed ahead of a main invasion force, to scout and secure beachheads, or even to take out key targets before the main invasion force arrives, making them an important asset for large-scale assaults when Imperial stormtroopers or other special units aren't available.
Point is, it don't matter where we go. Once we get into combat, the only person you can trust is yourself and the fella next to you.
Hey, as long as he's a paratrooper.
To broaden the scope of their operation, we will examine their place in the Imperial Army order of battle. A drop company alone isn't enough for a larger scale operation, which at a regiment, battle group, or corps level would be missions seeing offensives on a planetary scale. As such, a grouping of drop companies would be needed to support these larger formations. Given the information and their speciality, 3 drop companies and an assault company constitute an unaugmented drop battalion.
It's the Navy.
The landings have started. Let's go.
Let's move it out.
Right on time.
While such a designation does not exist in the standard order of battle, a drop company is notable due to its formation being sufficiently different enough to note separately from the standard line company. However, its makeup and operation at this scale isn't enough to warrant its own designation like a Special Missions Battalion. So to differentiate it from a line battalion, we shall use this designation.
You're the battalion commander, now get back here!
Dick, I understand your attachment to Easy Company, but
Sparse, get yourself over here! Get out there and relieve Dyke and take that attack on in!
A line battalion is the minimum force deployed by the Empire for ground operations, but in this case for a drop battalion, this formation is entirely composed of drop companies, in place of the standard line company, giving the Imperial Army at the battalion level its own rapid shock force, should the need arise absent an available stormtrooper force.
You've been solo since we dropped. Fighting on the surface? Unless you spent all night hiding in your pod, you must know your stuff.
Apart from short, quick operations, a drop battalion would more often be deployed for use in large-scale operations at the regimental level or above. As such, the only regiment sensible for it to be attached to is clear: the Assault Regiment, the most critical force of the most important stage of an invasion. The standard Imperial drop trooper is more skilled than your average army trooper. This is no doubt thanks to their training, but also their combat experience. As shock troops intended for operating long-term without supply, being among the first deployed to the combat zone, they will get more experience than normal army units who are deployed en masse with the armor and artillery after the beachhead is established.
Careful. Don't hurt yourself.
Nice ride you got here, Nix.
Great from Utah Beach.
Likewise, your experience makes them valuable for deep strike missions or for single mission operations which need a hard punch with experienced troops. As such, the larger formation they'd most likely be attached to is an assault regiment, which expects to find trouble and is meant to hit hard and fast. Attaching a crack drop trooper battalion for swift hard-hitting operations would ensure the best results. Given how these units are constantly in combat zones, moving from one to the next, this would further explain the greater skill of drop troopers compared to normal army troopers. No doubt in such operations these units would operate alongside veteran army units, which would make up the most of these assault regiments. Eventually, such constant combat would likely result in veteran drop troopers being some of the most dangerous shock troopers of the Imperial Army.
1st Battalion's to the north on your left flank. 3rd Battalion's in reserve. Andy, let's roll.
Sir, we're a little short on ammunition.
How short?
There was a limited supply in camp, sir.
Captain, you beg, borrow, or steal ammo. But you defend this area.
Sir.
With drop troopers forming the advanced force of a standard assault regiment, an augmented regiment with an additional line, special missions, assault, and artillery battalion would be a force to be reckoned with. For a battle group and corps size invasion, drop troopers would be critical in the landing phase, identifying and securing landing zones, taking out targets behind the line. All of this would be in support of the main force once it lands. Fast-moving assault regiments and armor can link up with the drop battalions and expand the beachhead for the rest of the invasion force.
Sherman! Well, hello, 2nd Armored.
Then with their job done, the assault regiment can pull back and be redeployed to another engagement on the planet, or spend time to rest and recover. Then when the battle is over, the assault regiment pulls out and moves on to the next operation.
Hate to break the mood here, boys, but we're moving out again.
For their missions, a drop trooper is kitted out only slightly differently to your standard army trooper. Given the nature of their role within the Imperial Army, drop troopers are expected to operate within several hazardous environments, possibly for prolonged periods. As such, they are outfitted for this task. Drop troopers wear a sealed exposure suit. Exposure suits are made to support the wearer in multiple environments, from deep jungle to harsh deserts. Like other such survival suits, they should be waterproof and tear-resistant, able to prevent dehydration thanks to their recycling systems and air filter recirculation systems. Much like the Versatech survival suit, which carries a similar suit system, But for a drop trooper, this system would be at least on par with, if not better than this commercial environment suit. A breath mask helmet is connected by breathing tubes to a backpack. Inside the helmet is a built-in comlink allowing every trooper to keep in contact, and helmets would also contain a built-in interactive combat array to distinguish other troopers with their identify friend or foe system.
Alright, let's see what we can see. Everybody online, looking good. Drake, check your camera. There seems to be a malfunction. That's better.
On top of the exposure suit is a set of field armor with a built-in control box, not unlike what's worn by TIE pilots, AT-AT drivers, and numerous other Imperial troopers.
I'll take them myself. Cover me.
Yes, sir.
This box controls the shell-like backpack, which likely acts as a high-grade filtration system for any atmospheric conditions. Troopers have a utility belt around their waist, not dissimilar from that worn by Imperial stormtroopers. It contains 4 visible pouches, which likely carry similar gear. Combat troops also wear leg straps to carry additional gear, such as sidearms in addition to their primary weapon. Drop troopers continue to make use of the standard E11 blaster rifle as their primary weapon, but for secondaries seem to make use of heavy blaster pistols. Their kit includes a standard set of survival gear and 3 grenades. Apart from the special exposure suit, they are Army troopers through and through.
K-rations, chocolate bars, charms, candy, powder, coffee, sugar matches, compass, bayonet, entrenching tool, ammunition, gas mask, reset bag with ammo, my webbing, my 45, canteen, 2 cartons of smokes, Hawkins mine, 2 grenades, smoke grenade, gamma grenade, TNT, this bullshit, and a pair of nasty skivvies. What's your point? You know, they stuff weighs as much as I do. I still got my shoot, my reserve shoot, my May West, my M1. Where you keeping your brass knuckles? I can use some brass knuckles.
Given the nature of their operations and the skill of their troopers, it would be unlikely that such elite companies wouldn't develop their own identities along with unique insignia. While the Imperial icon would be common for such troops, elite companies might be allowed by the Army to gain notoriety and distinction with their own unique identifiers. But for most drop troopers, it would be the Imperial emblem adorning both shoulders, as with their normal Army trooper brethren.
Good evening, Easy Company.
Evening, sir!
Now, parachute infantry is a brand new concept in American military history. By God, the 506 is going to forge that brand new concept into victory.
Yeah!
I want you to know that I'm damn proud of each and every one of you. Now, you deserve this party. Thank you, Sergeant Gray. So I want you to have fun and remember our motto. Hooray!
Hooray!
For deployment, drop troopers have a lot of flexibility in getting to the surface to carry out their mission. Along with their predecessors, there are several avenues and equipment they could use when dropping to a planet's surface. From paradropping with parasails to one-man gliders, there are a number of ways for a force of drop troopers to approach a mission. Given the nature of their operations, they could be carried in by shuttles, paradropping to the surface with their gear, or on a larger scale can be deployed by dropships, which could carry an entire company or more. And we know one such ship was used for the job, the MT-191 dropship.
Stand by, cross-locking now. Pre-launch autocycle engage. Primary couplers released. Hit the internals.
Built specifically as a rapid drop transport, it can carry 160 passengers with space for 200 metric tons of cargo, enough to deploy the bulk of the troopers and supplies.
Stand by, 10 seconds. Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Other transports and shuttles could likewise fill this role. But there is another vehicle well suited to them: drop pods.
I take it back. Navy got its butt kicked.
Hey, Romeo, remember when I told you to shut your mouth?
Yeah?
Consider that a standing order.
One-man pods exist, but for both reinforcement and to better supply its forces for an operation. There are troop pods, specialized vehicles for special missions. They are an ideal vehicle for drop troopers.
I hit my head. My hatch won't open. How about yours?
Works great.
Troop pods carry 20 passengers along with 200 kilograms of cargo with a day's worth of consumables. With each pod carrying 20 troopers, or just over 2 squads, it would take 9 pods to drop an entire drop company with their support elements and supplies, allowing them to be a formidable vanguard for an incursion. The pods are also stealth, making them harder to identify thanks to their size. They can also be launched along with several decoy pods to further mask a landing.
Commander Skywalker reported in yet?
No, he's checking out a meteorite that hit there.
With all the meteor activity in this system, it's going to be difficult to spot approaching ships.
Additionally, troop pods are followed by supply pods, made specifically to be dropped with the Force, or at a later time to resupply them, allowing a drop company to operate for long periods without a long logistics chain. Combined with their already formidable survival skills, these make drop troopers truly a force to be reckoned with.
Saddle up!
After the Battle of Yavin, the Rebel Alliance gained an important resource that would reshape their special forces. Crix Madine, a former Imperial Army officer who rose to high status but would later defect and join the Alliance.
General Nadine.
We have stolen a small Imperial shuttle.
Made a general and put in command of Alliance Special Forces, due in part to his involvement in the official restructuring of the Imperial Storm Commandos, Madine would reform Spec Force into a more effective fighting unit.
General Solo, is your strike team assembled?
Among his restructuring, he created units, which in function mirrored units in the Imperial Army. One that greatly resembles the role of Imperial drop troopers is the Rebel Pathfinders, operating on the same objective of landing and scouting potential assault zones. Another that mirrored the drop troopers' survivalist aspects were the Spec Force Wilderness Fighters. While it might be a coincidence, General Madine essentially separated the two halves of the drop trooper role into their own separate units.
A strike team will land on the moon and deactivate the shield generator.
In the post-Yavin period, his efforts would make Spec Force troops, by far, the most dangerous asset of the Rebel Alliance. The only example of drop troopers in action comes from Gone to Ground in No Disintegrations, written by Kevin M. McGregor. Set after the Battle of Yavin, we first see some drop troopers at Selenon, a major trading world in the Outer Rim. The transport Chalcedony was carrying a Bith smuggler and terrorist when a Rhodian detective tracking the Bith accidentally set off one of the terrorist spore bombs. Guided in by Imperial ships, the transport crashed and emergency responders arrived on the scene. Among them was a team of medical drop troopers. The crash was caused by the spore bombs, which were created by the terrorist Hogra Den. He was responsible for several attacks on Imperial facilities, killing over 40 people, including the son of System Sub-Commander Jared Brogetal. Thanks to clues left behind on the ship, a team of bounty hunters played in the adventure could uncover the terrorists' location. As they do this, Imperial troops and other first responders help to secure the crash site before setting up checkpoints in the spaceport to prevent any spread of contamination or smuggling of surviving bombs. Meanwhile, informed by an old contact in the Selenon Imperial Office of Criminal Investigations, Commander Brogetal aboard the Caracruiser Marduk, thanks to the actions of the players, now knows the location of the terrorists' possible hideout. Aboard the Marduk is a company of drop troopers, along with an MT-191 transport attached to the cruiser. With the location of the base revealed as Palaxides, Brogetal launches an attack, directing the search and assault from orbit.
You know the music. Time to dance.
Their landing is preceded by strafing attacks from the pair of TIE fighters and a recon TIE launched from the Marduk. The dropship is to touch down in the rainforest, west of the terrorist encampment, putting the base between them and the river opposite. With the threat of more spore bombs in use, the drop troopers were fully protected from any of the poisonous bioweapons thanks to their suits. While the recon TIE fighter is shot down, the 2 TIE LNs managed to take out all 3 heavy laser cannons with their 3 strafing runs. After this, the dropship arrives on the scene. Landing 200 meters out, the company is deployed and engages the terrorists' Aquilish mercenaries. If encountered by the players in this adventure, they operate in squads of 8, with 2 squads advancing on the camp where they might confront the characters. The Aquilish mercs tried to draw the Imperials into a trap and set off prepared spore bombs, but thanks to their suits' protection, this has no effect on the troopers. They have orders to capture the terrorist leader alive, and depending on the scenario, are able to do so. However it works out, Brojital succeeds in avenging the death of his son with the terrorists' capture. Something accomplished not only thanks to the players, but the Marduk and the elite drop troopers Commander Brojital brought with him.
Order! Huh!
Imperial drop troopers are probably one of the most important units in the Imperial Army, one almost totally overlooked and forgotten. Their possibilities are obscured by a lack of records, but from what we do know, they are some of the most exemplary line troops. The only record we have is one of total success, thanks to skill, intelligence, and perfect execution. These troops allow the Imperial Army to execute fast and precise ground operations. Alongside more notable units, Imperial drop troopers still stand out as an important force in the Imperial military, ensuring victory on the battlefield, one drop at a time.
What can I say? It was a hell of a night.
I'd like once again to thank Subjohn for his fantastic artwork representing the Imperial Drop Trooper. He's got some fantastic skill and his efforts in the Space Trooper video were greatly appreciated. Be sure to check out his DeviantArt and support his work. Link below. Another shout out as well for Ahnok's efforts with his chart showing off the order of battle for the Drop Troopers. He likewise has some skill in research, and a lot he's working on to cover various formations in Star Wars history. Be sure to check out his page as well. Link in the description. If you like my content, be sure to like and subscribe, join the Discord or Patreon in order to help support the channel. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, Ross out.
That night I took time to thank God for seeing me through that day of days, and prayed I would make it through D+1. And if somehow I managed to get home again, I promised God and myself that I would find a quiet piece of land someplace and spend the rest of my life in peace.